Santos. All right, Hafaday and good morning. Thank you all for being here. My name is Austin Fortuno, Special Projects Coordinator for the Office of the Attorney General of Guam. Today we're gathered to address a serious and urgent matter. As you know, our launch of Project Dignity, a program by the AG's office and the Opioid Council designed to offer a meal, a shower, a sleep, and a work opportunity to help Guam's opioid-addicted homeless and poor, has been disrupted by the actions taken by the governor and her legal counsel. This AG's office will fight for Guam's homeless and poor to get the benefits decided by the Opioid Council. Joining us on the panel for today's press conference is Acting Deputy Attorney General Lee Miller. Let's give him a round of applause. Assistant Attorney General Chris Anderson. Assistant Attorney General James Glover. And as well as our Project Dignity Guardians, led by our team leader, Tani Duenas. And now to speak on the matter, please welcome to the podium the Attorney General of Guam, Douglas B. Moylan.
Hafaday. You know, the last few days, working days, has been very difficult. We've had to shift from a project that has taken us 8 months to the Opioid Council, which provided a prospectus of what the Dignity Project was about, which was niche marketing in terms of helping our people, all the way to 2 procurements. We tried the RFP process, we tried the bid process, and we ended up having to do sole source procurement in order to provide a limited set of services that this island hasn't seen before. And quite frankly, given the outreach that I've been hearing, this is almost precedent-setting in the United States. But in fact, was built upon the 1930s soup kitchen model. And that's where I originally conceived it with my team here. Some of you are in the audience. What happened today, I see as a hiccup in the process of us helping our homeless and poor that have been addicted to opioids and all the myriad of drugs that we find that opioid-addicted people experience. So this issue is bigger than any one government official and anyone in this community. It's ravishing Guam. I think it's common knowledge now, especially by the governor and her staff, of what opioid, meth, drug addiction is doing to our community. And this is on top of the already homeless and poor population that exists out there. Our investigation in 2023, after our first opioid council meeting, brought us to the point of understanding that in these homeless encampments in all 19 villages, we have opioid and meth addicted people. Whether meth causes their homelessness or whether their choices in life causes their homelessness, they seem to be going hand in hand. And when I say that, I reference the photos that we have that we've published to a certain extent, that when our investigators went into those homeless encampments, of which that Harmon one was one that we actually cleared out, we found all the drug paraphernalia just literally laying on the ground in the abandoned cars that made up those encampments. And efforts were made with our governor to try to get them to continue what we started in early 2023, and that had nothing to do with the Opioid Council. But in the Opioid Council, it was an opportunity to use non-taxpayer funds in order to help our community. And that's why I keep on going back to who on this island can better help our community than our governor, the attorney general, the legislature, and hopefully our courts, because it's the judiciary that's, from our perspective, is ground zero for all the meth-addicted / repeat criminals. Those are the 2 biggest problems as Attorney General that I'm reporting to you today after 2 years of my second term as the elected Attorney General. We didn't have this type of problem before. It is an epidemic. What are we going to do about it? This event that happened on Sunday or this weekend that was thrown by some of the service providers, paid for the taxpayer dollars, the Passport to Services, I think was one of the names given to it. It's the tip of the iceberg. We literally need to help those people on the streets, in the encampments, put them into a hotel-type setting, get a laundry machine, get soap, get a shower, do everything you can in addition to the solid meal. And our program was designed around a 20 bed facility for 365 days, fully funded by the Opioid Council. While I'm doing this structural analysis of where we've been and where we're at now, I welcome those in attendance, especially our media, who's going to spread the word to our population out there to ask questions. This is where our government officials need to become accountable to you, the taxpayers, to you, the people of Guam, and to the people that are not fortunate. Some of the things that I've seen is that we hear a lot of the senators, the governor, the officials, the elected officials, complaining about how our community, for example, the chairman of the new Republican legislature is saying that be careful of the spending right now that we've gotten used to. We're not going to have that money. If the new Trump administration cuts the programs, if they make peace in the Far East, there goes the military spending. Our tourism economy is shot right now. They're talking about hotels that were ravaged through COVID, have mold in their systems, they need complete revamps in terms of those hotels, in addition to us competing with Asia, Hawaii, and the rest of the tourism market. We are facing a very severe problem that our homeless encampments, of which all 19 villages have them, are going to be growing. The fact that our governor is not helping me in order to locate where all that meth is coming in, which I believe is the port, and my team tells me it's coming through the Port Authority of Guam. Without that type of help, the Attorney General's office does not have the resources nor the influence of the cabinet to help us in this community. The meth epidemic is going to increase. The number of crimes that occur when a person gets meth addicted, the murders in this community. All of these murders that I've seen in 2024 were all meth related. The murders that we just had recently, meth related. When are our government officials going to stop and work together in order to help our community? That's what we're here today. We're not talking about who's winning and who's losing in court. We're talking about what are you doing to step up to the plate and to help us. With people in these lawyers that you see behind me right now, and I welcome Neil, maybe if you can sit in this, but this is our assistant chief prosecutor right now. The attorneys to my right and to my left are civil attorneys. They're the ones behind the mechanisms that go, the legal analysis and mechanisms that go into the creating the Dignity Project, to making sure that the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted. So this is a product, this is something that we believe is not offered on Guam that we desperately need. So with that being said, the posture of what occurred, if you guys weren't at the court proceedings, the posture was August 29, 2024, the Opioid Council, of which 5 of the 9 voting members are the governor's own cabinet and appointed by the governor. That's the combination, including public health and Guam behavioral health. Voted, 4 of the 5 governor's appointees voted for the Dignity Project. The prospectus was given to the media earlier. It's on our website. What I just explained right now. 20 beds, 365 days, a meal evening and a meal morning, and then another 20 get reset. As of today, we had 20 eligible, homeless, poor people that were ready to go into this project at 4 o'clock. It was stopped by the governor of Guam. The governor of Guam, the person who has the most control over this island and can do the most good for this island. That being said, I also use this as a platform to ask the governor of Guam, call me up and meet with me so that we can get this project moving. Who's right and who's wrong means little when you're talking to a meth addict, to an opioid addicted person, or to the homeless and poor. They don't care. They need help. And that is the basic Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Shelter, food, clean clothes, a clean environment. It's not whether the governor should or should not sign a document. The money is there. August 29, 2024, council passed it. We're 8 months after. You know what? Do you want to know why we're 8 months after that thing was passed? Request for proposal. Hotels, come to us, provide us the facilities. Nothing. One group came in, nonprofit, couldn't come to an agreement with us. The design is only for one night for 365 days. And yes, people can reapply if we have beds and spaces. Priorities for women and children. We had everything already structured. RFP went through, couldn't come to a conclusion on that procurement. Then we tried the invitation to bid. No responses when the deadline came. We continued it for 2 weeks. No responses. Procurement law provides, then you move to sole source procurement. We did it. We are the attorneys for the government. The attorneys for the government are elected every 4 years. Nobody else can issue those legal opinions that the staff looked at and they issued. We are the ones that guard the procurement law. So we're at a point ready to start today. Governor Sue's on Friday. Not one phone call from our chief executive officer elected by you to me, your chief legal officer, saying, Doug, come up here, let's talk about this. Nothing. What it tells me is it's pride and hubris that's going on in our government right now, and it's hurting all of us. When I won as a second term attorney general, I checked in my pride and hubris at the door. I'm here as a fiduciary for everybody here, and I welcome the governor to call me now to just say, let's help our people and stop fighting about who should sign on. And yes, we sent it up on Friday. When she filed her lawsuit against me, I'm not going to fight about it. Put her name on that document and send it up to her. If she wants to look at it for legal review, well, first of all, the senators said the only ones that are supposed to look at it for legal review are these people here. Who else is supposed to look at legal review? It's the Attorney General. The governor does not have an Attorney General staff up there. And by the way, I want to thank these 4 individuals to my left here. They are the guardians that were ready to check in today at 4 o'clock to provide help to the homeless and poor. They were standing by. The whole team has been working for 8 months to look at every logistical element of this project, including security, food services. If we exceed the 20, i.e. a woman and her kids come in and need help, to go buy the food that may not have been prepared and to provide the help they need. That's the type of social services, real-life social service help that we are talking about in the Dignity Project. That image that we're using here, Michelangelo, God helps him who helps himself. That is what the image says. That's part of the end result of what we have designed here. It was a work program at the end of the day to give people the ability to have some dignity, earn your money. And I'm talking day programs. I'm not talking nice classified government jobs. We know a lot of them may have issues with that. But working with the service providers to provide some sort of a service for that. So our office is going to, we are the lawyers. We're the ones that are supposed to think these things through. It's not a fight, but it is our attempt to help the homeless and the poor. And that's why I said at today's hearing, when I was disappointed by Judge Chalahi when he said temporary restraining order is going to issue. Who's hurting more here is the people of Guam, the homeless, the needy, the poor, the drug addicted. The reason why that picture is on the Sistine Chapel at the Rome. When you let pride stand in the way of things, people hurt. They suffer. You guys are, this is the Attorney General Doug Moylan saying that. The guy that had the panhandlers being ticketed, the guy that's putting the meth addicts and the repeat criminals in jail, the guy that's showing up the judiciary for letting out people that are ending up killing us. Taitagui up in the Talafofo, if we remember that a few months ago, let out of court, the murderer, at least the one that was accused of it. Criminal prosecution, civil attorneys, we're one government, we're here to help this community, and we need to get past all these. This case could go away within a minute if the governor just called me up and we worked to make sure that those 4 people start doing the services to help our homeless. And it's just not them. We have service providers that we envision as team members to be part of this. Public health, all the forms are ready. The emergency assistance, not the ones that you wait a week to 2 weeks, but the ones that you turn in immediately at public health, and they get an immediate cash amount of money, provided they qualify. That's the type of instant help that these guardians have been geared up towards. Look at the program that's in your packets for the medias. It's an evening program starting at 4 o'clock and ending 9 o'clock the next morning. And it's not just putting them in their hotel room. It's getting them to come to a conference table and fill the forms out. For the private companies, Department of Labor especially, find me the day labor. Governor Gutierrez told me this in 2023. At GVB, Guam Visitors Bureau, he was ready to take people off the street, put them in the car, take them to the parks, and pick up trash, clean up Tumon. Tourists don't like to see this stuff. Tourists don't like to see panhandlers in the middle of the roads bugging them. Kids shouldn't be taught like that. This is the type of many different projects that our office has been working on, and the Dignity Project was the Opioid Council's endorsement. The 9 voting members of the Opioid Council, with $1.1 million for that, they appropriated $1.4 million on a prospectus plan. There's no corruption here. You know, when I see the front page of the PDN saying that the AG is being accused of corruption, should I endorse that? I'd be willing to be accused of corruption if you understood the program. And if you call corruption helping our people of Guam, helping the homeless and the poor, then I'm guilty of corruption. You show me $1 that went into any one of our pockets doing this. And in fact, we probably took a few years off of our life even trying to do this with all the stress that we get at the AG's office. That's the type of discussion we're having here. That's our job. We're willing to do it. Governor, help our people. 2 months, this billboard was up. Governor, help our people. What was her response? Take my emblems off your billboard. What type of response is that? It was an invitation for the governor, use our taxpayer dollars to help us. Mental health, public health, Department of Labor. Help us and stop getting caught up in the pride. And I don't care if it's at the governor's house, but isn't that the best place to put the homeless so that it gets fixed? I was told the other day there's 400 homeless on Guam. That was at the University of Guam capstone presentation. Mr. San Augustine was identified, I think there was about 2,000 people that showed up in his survey. He identified, of that group, there was only 400, about 400 of them that are actually homeless. That is a great target for a project like ours. That means that we're going to be seeing repeat people coming to the services. I said it the other day. I said it in court. I was at Guam Regional Medical Facility, a private hospital. First of all, a month ago, the corridors were filled with people. I literally said to the nurse that was there, who are all these people? And they all looked impoverished. They weren't in the beds. It was overflow. They said, those are the people that are walking in because they don't want to go to GMH. I went to the front of the building, 8 o'clock at night. I smelled urine as I'm walking through the front doors of GMRC. I looked to my left. I saw a gentleman that was probably 70 years old lying on the bench. I could smell him 20 feet away. He wasn't here. He was over there. But the wind blew it right into that front door. Those were the people that were the intended guests for Project Dignity. You heard what I said to the judge today. The reason why the RFP and the bids didn't go through, because we asked those people in our prospectus. This is the prospectus that I'm talking about. We asked these people that RFP, the bid, why didn't you guys turn up a bid? These photos, page 11 and 12, these came from an actual company on our market research that says, hey, sure, I think we can help you out here. 20 beds a night for 365 days, that's good pocket change. That's good money at their regular rates. We asked, why didn't you turn in the bid? I'm sorry, we thought about it, but we don't want the image of homeless people in our hotel. That's what our government leaders are dealing with right now. They have a stigma of nobody wants them. Meth addicts, if any of you have ever dealt with a meth addict, as many have told me, nobody wants the meth addict, not even their own parents. Because what do the meth addicts do? They steal everything in your house, sell it off so they can get another fix. They become mentally ill because of the drugs affecting their brains. They steal and kill. They engage in violent crimes when they become meth addicts. This is the salt of the earth, the things that the Bible talks about. You'll always have your poor. Well, as the Attorney General, as the Governor of Guam, if we have our poor, we need to help them with the money that you give us as taxpayers. And that's the irony of this whole situation. It's not even your money. It's not my money. It's not the governor's money. It's the pharmaceutical money, the $5 million that is averaged into that account that we get from those pharmaceutical companies that were participating in pushing addiction by how they were prescribing their drugs. That's what the opioid money is all about. We received it. It was sitting in the bank account when I became the Attorney General in 2023. I started to hit the meth addicts. 19 dogs, drug-addicted dogs. How long did it take this administration to bring those dogs in? 2 years. Year and a half. Why? My staff called up Customs, said, you guys got the money. You guys have the location for the dogs. The dogs are being trained. Where are they? Silence. Excuses. Procurement this, procurement that. This project is not designed to wait. You cannot wait to help the homeless. Exigency, irreparable injury, I'm sorry. Respectfully disagree with our judge. The irreparable injury and injury is to the beneficiaries of the Dignity Project, and that's why we're going to the Guam Supreme Court to see if we can help our homeless and poor with a higher court. And this is with all due respect to our Judge Terlahi. So, as I said, I want to open this up, make it interactive with our community out there. If anybody has any questions, I have my staff here that's ready to answer your questions. You need to ask it. The people of Guam need to understand the meth addicts, the homeless, the people that need these services have to get answers on what happened today. What happened today? What happened on Friday? And who's behind it? It's not the lawyers that you blame. It's their client. Who's the client for these lawyers that got a restraining order on Project Dignity and the Opioid Council? The client is the person that we all elected to be the governor for now 6 years. Two-term governor. I wasn't even around when her first term was there. I came in 2023. But in 24 months, my team of hardworking AG employees put together this and many other projects. I'm not bragging. What do you have to bring to the table? How are we going to fix this? It's only going to get worse. This is a function of money and human behavior and the drug dealers out there. And that's why we hit the port. 100% inspections. How difficult is it to inspect the port when Jeff Pleadwell at Just Pirates Cove is calling me up on a weekend and saying, I got a bunch of drugs that just washed up on my beach. It's coming through the port. That's the way that you need to think. We need to think to stop these homeless people that are taking the drugs so they can't even help themselves anymore. So, ladies and gentlemen, and even the AG staff, you guys have questions, ask it.
All right, we will now take questions from the media. Just raise your hand. I'll go ahead and give you a microphone.
John O'Connor from the Guam Post. It's been about an hour and a half now since the judge issued his
Temporary restraining order.
Yeah. Have you spoken with the landlord about whether they're actually going to pull out or not?
I've asked my staff to reach out to the landlord on this. I'm waiting for further information. I'm going to ask him to at least stay strong until the Guam Supreme Court application. My team here is working on it. I'm going to let maybe Lee Miller discuss a bit of the perspective of what we're seeing. Lee, why don't you come up?
The, excuse me, it's the Attorney General's office intention to appeal Judge Terlaje's order today within the next several hours. We intend to file the notice of appeal, and we will take the matter up with the Guam Supreme Court. As the Attorney General argued in court today, it's our view that perhaps the most important element of who's being harmed in the debate between the governor's office and the Attorney General's office is the people of Guam, especially the homeless population of Guam. And that's, as the Attorney General has emphasized here today, the Dignity Project is our plan for addressing the needs of the opioid addicted on Guam. If there's another plan, if somebody's got a better idea what to do with the opioid settlement money, I'm sure the council will be happy to hear it. But the opioid addicted and their families need help now. This is the Attorney General's plan, and we hope the Supreme Court agrees with us that in the absence of an alternative, this is the best thing for the people of Guam. You'll have to ask the judges about that. We will be making our filing in the next few days, and then it's up to the court to decide what process it wants to use to move forward in evaluating the alternatives.
AG, I know there was, earlier this month, the contract hit DOA, and you guys run into a hiccup with that employee who had specified that the question whether it could move forward without the governor's signature. At that point, was there any attempt to reach out to the governor and say, hey, can you sign this? And if not, why didn't that happen? And why did we go down the road that we did?
Our information from the Department of Administration was that that contract went from that individual straight up to the governor. Because our office was saying the registering of a document is clerical perfunctory. Why aren't you doing this? We are your attorneys. We have just informed you that this is a legal document. So that was the first indication of politics. And there have been many indications of politics. My goodness, look at that Rapadas, General Rapadas. When that bill passed, I believe it was 2011 maybe? Since General Rapadas, the attorney generals have complained about when they get into a dispute with another elected official, i.e. the governor, that her cabinet starts to slow walk things. So what does the attorney general do? First of all, you have an attorney general opinion. That is for the people of Guam, and it's not me. Any attorney general in every state of our union that issues an opinion, a formal opinion of an attorney general, that is the most important guidance for any government official. Absent the judges. Once the judges come in, that trumps an attorney general's opinion, okay? That's how our system works. You can't just hire somebody off the street and pay them money to give you an opinion. You need to go through the processes. Most every attorney general in the United States is now elected in the states. So you trust the attorney general for the legal guidance, and then you follow it. When any government official, and this is why you guys dovetail your stories, certifying officers, when you see an attorney general opinion saying that something's illegal, that is the people of Guam speaking. And when the people of Guam say this is the proper way to do it, follow it. Don't fight the attorney general's opinions, because we will take you before a grand jury and then present it to them and ask them, do you believe a crime has been committed? Civil law overlaps with criminal law. Official misconduct, certifying government officers. You violate a criminal law, the attorney general is the only official that has the power to bring a criminal case. You don't put your blinders on and just say, hey, that's just a civil opinion. You violate that civil opinion, and we find that it is a violation of criminal law, you will be charged. I want that to get out there, because that's how you get a good government. You select the right attorney general, and by definition, an election selects the right attorney general. Then you trust the attorney general to give out the legal advice. And what's the consequence of not following the attorney general's legal advice? It can be criminal and civil. And DOA was reminded Don't play politics, because this is an important project. It deals with at least $1 million of money, taxpayer money, and that we will follow what the legal opinions say and then bring you before the courts. And again, we don't just charge people. It needs to either go through grand jury indictment, where we present the case and the grand jury decides to put a case number on it, or goes before a judge for misdemeanors and then the judge puts a case number on it. So those are the safety valves. But that's the way our system works. Unfortunately, there's politics that are going on in this government, and that's why I welcome the governor to think past her own issues on what she may like or not like, and let's both help out these people. Call me today so that we don't have to further use legal avenues. But that's my job. I was trained for that. They were trained for that. They were licensed for that. You push us, we have to help our client. Our client is the people of Guam, and the homeless and poor are our clients. The people that break the laws, they cross the line.
There was a settlement mentioned in court this morning that was sent to the governor.
Oh, no, that was a characterization and a mischaracterization. There was an offer immediately. When I get a lawsuit being served on our office in the morning, by the way, I was recruiting at UOG at the time, and I'm being told that the governor just sued me, I'm going, why? And the reason was because she didn't have her signature on it. She didn't review it. Well, first of all, you should have asked your people you appointed back in August of 2024. 8 months ago, when they all raised their hand, it was on the news. My gosh, the whole event was on the news. You should have asked your Department of Administration when they were administering the request for a proposal. You should have asked the Department of Administration and GSA when the bid was put out. You should have done all this before, 2 days before it was to be implemented. $1.1 million on the line, but most importantly, it was the homeless and poor, an opportunity to really help them out. It was a no-judgment, safe place that is designed in this Dignity Project. And I've said it before. I don't care if they've got an arrest warrant. I don't care if they've got a history of criminality. We don't ask the questions in the Dignity Project. As long as you're vetted, that you're not mentally ill, that you are not a danger to any of the other guests there, no weapons, no drugs. That was the whole parameters that we're ready to implement at 4 o'clock today.
There was some issue taken with the, I think with the sole source procurement that ended up landing us with the Tropical Palm Hotel.
Right.
Resort, and that there was no procurement record kept. This is a
No,
repeat
we
allegation
followed
from
every part of that statute. We are the administrators of the procurement law. The Attorney General is throughout the procurement law. We have to comply, but even more so, the governor has to follow it because she's part of the process for us to do the procurements. That's why I said the request for, look at the exhibits that we emailed to all the media. Look at those ads that were in the newspaper. It's not the Attorney General's ad, it's Department of Administration, GSA. That's the governor's appointees. Mr. Byrne is the head of the Department of Administration. That is a cabinet-level department in our government. So, you know, this is why I'm saying the waiver, the mootness, the ripeness, all these arguments came out. And again, I go back to that pride. I'm not so prideful. If I made a mistake, Governor, thanks for finding it. You know, help these people out, even though we think that your signature is not necessary. By the way, what do we want the governor to do now? It's sitting on her desk. What is my aunt, Lou Leon Guerrero, Afligui Leon Guerrero, supposed to do? Is she supposed to look over it legally? The procurement law says the Attorney General's office is that responsibility. Is the governor supposed to decide if we should use that money for that purpose? I don't think so, because the senator said that 9-person council is supposed to vote on how to use that money, and they voted. It doesn't say anywhere in there that the governor has a veto authority over the opioid council money. So I'm just kind of wondering, what is she supposed to do? Is she going to say no? Well, if she says no, then is it because of pride, hubris, or is it because of you don't like me, the Attorney General, because I'm standing in the way of a medical complex that didn't follow the statutes? By the way, here's the irony of what went on today in the proceedings. And Mr. Miller can further delve into this one. So you have a governor that is opposing us in the federal district court saying that my signature wasn't necessary in that document. That federal law says on the ARP money that you need to follow local law. It doesn't say that in the opioid council rules, by the way, that you need to get the governor's signature, the law that was passed by legislature. The governor just made an argument against her own attorneys in the federal court. Where's the contract that the governor has entered into for the medical facility in Manila? There's no contract. There's no AG signature. You can't enter into a $1.5 billion project in 10 years for a medical complex without having documents. It's absurd. It's shocking. So, yeah, that's a response to your question in that respect. Did you want to
AG,
add anything?
To clarify, when the individual at Reverend Tax did not, I think,
That was a Department of Administration.
yeah.
The Government Corruption Division reviewed the case, and they sent a notice letter just to him. Wasn't released publicly. The governor of Guam's attorneys released that letter publicly, by the way. That's not how we operate. We were advising that individual after that person refused to register that document that he is now under investigation for being prosecuted. What he did very smartly, he registered it, as was his job. These are ministerial jobs. He is not the governor of Guam or the attorney general that can decide whether this is legal or not. It wasn't a certifying officer either. It was a ministerial act. But what I understand he did was he sent it right up to the governor, so they started to get ready to sue us. Pick up the phone call, governor, and talk to the elected attorney general. I got elected by the same voters that elected you 2 years ago. What are we doing fighting? Guys, go to the end of the story here. We don't just litigate to litigate in the AG's office. We try to fix it.
No, I think you answered. He sent it straight to the governor.
That's my understanding.
After- okay.
Yeah.
But at that point, the contract already had an execution date, right?
Well, the contract was executed, yes. The contract was executed, it was ready for filing on the Attorney General's office's legal guidance. And that's what's key to it. This wasn't just somebody, a non-attorney or some department sending it to the DOA for signature. Because what they would have done was send it to, guess who? The Attorney General's office. That's why I'm saying this government is tearing itself apart at taxpayer expense and at the expense of our homeless and poor in this case. We're destroying ourselves as a community. We need to stop. We need to respect one another, and that's what I did. I respected the governor, I think I did, when I sent it up to the governor for signature. What exactly does she have a problem with here, by the way? What exactly is her problem with the Dignity Project? Is her problem that her signature wasn't on a document that might be focused upon the media? I'll take my signature off if I could and let her sign it. Just take what we've got and run with it. That's what the whole point of this is. And by the way, again, it's not me. This is not my Dignity Project. It is the Opioid Council. We don't have a budget to give a $1.1 million or $1.4 million away. It was the Opioid Council. But she didn't sue the Opioid Council, by the way. She sued the Attorney General and the Attorney General's office. So I'm just kind of like, that's why when we were talking to the judge, we were pointing out that, hey, wait a minute. The resolution, I think this third exhibit there, it's specifically, that's the resolution that the opioid, you guys were present. It was televised, the vote. 5 governor appointees of the 9, and 4 of them passed it, as well as the other ones present. So that's the type of discussion. That's the important legal issue. That's the public interest that's being dealt with by our government at your expense, taxpayers' expense. I don't think it's the right way we should deal with it. I'm all for Anaf and Malik. I'm all for sitting down and resolving things. My civil guys would tell you, I hate civil litigation. It takes years of fighting. You're going to be retiring, passing on in life by the time that civil lawyers get finished with anything. Because everybody gets to appeal, 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 and wait and wait and wait. These homeless people can't wait. Like I was reminded this morning, that medical complex, who's going to help those people that are having heart attacks right now? Guam has no open heart surgeon. Why are we talking about something 10 years from now when everybody's suffering on Guam, especially heart disease? A stent is not open heart surgery. A stent will not save your life when you're already at that point. With the diabetes, with the sedentary lifestyle that our families are experiencing, Where's the medical facility? We're not even talking about bringing in heart surgeons at GMH. We're talking about falling ceilings. We're talking about not having enough pharmaceuticals. This is not a Band-Aid type hospital that you're supposed to have in a 150,000 population that's at least 8 hours away from Hawaii and 4 hours away from the Philippines. Our loved ones can't get on a plane and simply go there, and especially dealing with United on whether or not they're even going to let your loved one get on a plane to get an open heart surgery, or the person dying because of the pressurization that goes on in airplanes. Why isn't our governor and the legislature talking about bringing in, like when I was a legislative counsel, the orthopedic surgeon? Where's that cardiac specialist, that Dr. Concepcion, that keeps on saying, I'm available for our people, and we haven't funded. The governor hasn't said, for a short-term goal, I'm going to bring in the cardiac surgeon. A stent is not a surgeon. They don't even put you out. They just run it through your veins, right? What about if your heart's almost at complete failure? Open heart surgery, take the veins in. It's a high success rate in all these institutions. Our people are dying because of the pride going on in our government right now. Sorry. Absolutely. Okay, well, let's see. Tani, why don't you come up and kind of explain what services we have ready? And hopefully by the end of our Supreme Court appeal, or if the governor gives me a call, she wants my signature off it, and she wants to endorse it, go ahead. Identify yourself.
My name is Tani Dueñas. I'm the project leader for the Dignity Project. What was your question again? Yes, so part of the Dignity Project, it offers bridge services such as assistance with applying for welfare assistance, as well as the day labor program that we were supposed to assist with. So I actually was the one that was reaching out to the mayors as well as to GVB to see if they can have day labor opportunities for participants of the Dignity Project to partake in if they wanted to get the opportunity to earn money. So those are some of the services that we were offering. Yes, most definitely. So that's actually part of the pre-vetting. If they want to come back, they can. However, we do have a priority list with women and children at the top. So if we do have extra rooms available and some of them already were a part of the project, then they can partake in it as well.
And just to add to that, the landlord has made 30 rooms available. So our project scope is 20, but when a mother comes in with 8 kids, and we've seen it in the AG's office, you look at those family court, the problem is you can't see them. When a mother is found on the side of the road because the husband kicked them out, or the husband is meth addicted, or even the woman's meth addicted, they literally are seeing them in Jonia, walking on the side of the road with 3 kids in tow. That's the type of cases we're seeing in the AG's office. This is what Project Dignity was about. It was to help those people, but we have 30 rooms available.
Okay, thank you.
Are questions from the media present? All right, I'll go ahead and invite the Attorney General to close off.
Okay, well, let me just end this. I think you guys have heard enough over the last 8 months about this. I'll just use our media sources here to put an open invitation to my aunt, Lourdes Aflagui Leon Guerrero, to call me up, her nephew, Douglas Moylan, and let's focus upon helping our poor and homeless. Governor, I'll do what you want if we can get this project working. I don't need or want my lawyers having to litigate it out at taxpayer expense. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This concludes today's press conference.